How's it going, guys? My name is Dave Paleo. I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and today, guys, is kind of a different video than normal. We have Tony Merlot out in San Antonio, Texas, and he has a couple of thrift stores out there, and he's been able to scale his thrift stores to a very high level where he just opened up a new store. And I feel like no one's really talking about the thrift store game or like owning an actual thrift store, so I wanted to have him on and just have a great conversation on how he actually runs his business. All his links are down below, guys, if you guys want to check him out on Instagram and on YouTube. He has two Instagrams for his main thrift store page and his personal one. If you guys want to check it out, down below. Let's get into the video.
I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it,
yeah. Tony Marlowe, owner of Thrift at the Warehouse, Thrift King official on Instagram.
Kind of give me a rundown of how you got started into thrifting, because I saw that you did junk haul removal for a while, and now you're into the thrift game. So kind of give me a rundown of how you got started into everything, kind of your journey into like the resale game, thrifting, and then now where you're at now, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So my story is kind of unique because, like you had said, I started on the home service side, running a junk removal and moving franchise, which I purchased when I was about 21 years old. So I started running that, didn't have any experience in business, and that's the reason why I decided to get a franchise. But as I got into it, I started to see what, true business really looks like. And at times it was really, really hard, to be honest, right? And so the first year, it took us a year, it took me a year to get open, but by the first year, I'm getting ready to go out of business. So 2019 going into 2020, what occurred on 2020, we had a pandemic happen. I'm running a bad business. I kind of got myself together, but as I was getting myself together, I told myself I'm a CEO. I need to start dressing like one. So I started wearing a white shirt and a green tie every single day. And then I start to feel like a CEO. And because I felt like a CEO, I was in my office. In my office, there was like a little like crevice under it, and bugs would crawl in under there. And I was like, man, ain't no CEO sitting in the office like this, So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a better office. That way I can really feel the part.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I ended up negotiating a lease with my landlord for another space. And then I was left with the space I already had. And I was like, man, I'd rather not just like get rid of this space. Maybe I can do something with it. So I asked them, hey, I want to test out thrift, right? Hey, I want to see if I can resell some of this stuff that we're getting off the back of the truck, because we were trying to donate it, but they were turning us away. So we had to throw it away most of the times. So I was like, hey, I want to test out this thrift concept and see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much how we got into the game, man.
Okay. Yeah. So you had no previous experience running like any kind of thrift store? Did you see that growing up, or did you just kind of get the idea because of all the stuff that you were getting?
Yeah, it was just way too much stuff. We were literally getting full truckloads worth of good stuff, and it was like, one, it's an inconvenience if I have to take it to a Goodwill station every single time. And then two, it costs money to get rid of it. So I had no clue how I was going to do it. And that was actually why I was very nervous. So whenever I called up my landlord, I asked him, I was like, hey, man, I want to test this out. I don't know if it'll be successful or not. Can you give me some grace is what I asked him for. And so I was like, give me some grace. Let me experiment. We ended up coming up with a deal where he would give me the rent for $100 increase every single month. Okay. Right. And so it was $100 month one, $200 month two, and so on and so forth until I got to $1,000. And I was like, shit, $100 at risk, I'll take that. Yeah. Right now, what do I do? Like, how do I sell this stuff? How do I, build the business? And so, yeah, that's pretty much no experience whatsoever, man. And with the junk guys, like we always talk about doing thrift, but nobody really knows how to do it at a high level. So I was literally on an island, and that's not something I normally do. I'm always with mentorship, but I would say this is like the first one I was really on an island, to be honest.
Yeah. If you look on YouTube right now, even on Instagram, there's lots of people sharing how they open up thrift stores. Most thrift stores that are out there are big chains like Goodwill or Savers or Salvation Army. It's like just massive corporations. They're not going to share anything, Right. And I see local thrift stores here nearby. They're not going to share nothing. I try to talk to them. and just kind of pick their brain a little bit. They don't talk about it at all either, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean it's a good
So
business. That's why they're not trying to give away the sauce, man.
yeah, it's a great business. It's something I want to get into. And I watch all your stuff to try to learn as much as I can.
Yeah,
And I'm in
good.
California, you're in San Antonio.
Yeah,
We wouldn't even be competing. And honestly, the demand is so high for thrift stores and there's so much waste. Like there's no way, like literally that there could be 10 in one city and they can all be killing it, you know, or like one
successful.
town.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
because the waste is so massive, the demand is higher now. Um, and yeah, it's just insane how much waste there is in this country.
Right, right. I agree. Yeah, and I mean I've had nothing but positive. Like that other business I was running was literally like a roller coaster. You know, one month we're killing it. I'm like, dude, we're on top of the world. Next month we're
Yeah,
losing money. You know, I'm like, wait, what's going on, right?
yeah,
So now with this thrift business, like kind of the icing on the cake, that first month, I put some people in there, and it became literally like my first like cash cow gold mine kind of business where it's like, oh
hmm,
wow, like you can really, if you get it right, it can be very, very lucrative for you and your family.
absolutely.
Um, so yeah, just very blessed to even stumble upon it. You know, I since been out of that other business. I sold that in 2023, and yeah, I wouldn't have gotten to thrift if I wouldn't have taken that first step. You know, even though
Yeah,
it was a very rough little journey, it definitely made me a better entrepreneur. Definitely taught me how to build systems, how to put process in place, how to develop people, which is very important. I think a lot of like smaller resellers they miss that component of building their business. Right? It's just them. They don't have anybody to help them, and
yeah.
I don't do anything alone. So
You
everything
cannot
I do
build.
is with people.
Yeah, you cannot build something like massive that what you're doing, or like a business that gets over 1 million a year, or a very high sales revenue type of business without the help. You need a good team. And like I was talking to my dad about this other day, like to get a good team and to encourage them to work very hard and you get better within the business. It takes a special kind of person to motivate and not just boss around, and
Yeah.
like inspire the employees to buy into what you're trying to build. You know,
Right, right,
um,
right. And
and they're
I can
like,
give some sauce on that right there, man.
yeah,
You know, with the other business, it was so the razor thin margin, right? And so I'm
hmm,
like, dude, I have to have people, right? I can't do all the work. We're running 5 trucks a day.
hmm,
Very, revenue was good, but the opportunity for my team is, depressing, right? So I
yeah,
had very bad quality talent. I had, people smoking on the truck, smoking on the job, coming in late, being, all the worst things you would think about.
yeah,
I had happening, right? Until I was able to create a recruiting funnel, right? And so, like most people are focused on product or service, then they're focused on how to make sales and market their business. But I built out a recruiting funnel, right? So we always have that talent. We then incentivize, or we then train and then incentivize that talent to perform on our behalf, but on their behalf, right? So like we want them to go out and work harder for themselves, and then we get a bonus, or we are rewarded because they're working harder.
yeah.
And once I was able to figure that out, it was kind of off and on racing with all of these businesses. So I think that's
No, yeah,
one thing. Really implement some type of incentive program, you know, like whatever they are in control of, give them an extra reward for helping the business perform better. So now we're all in this together, truly. If not, they're essentially working against you, right? It's their hourly or they're just, set rate. There is no
yeah,
incentive for them to perform better. And so because of that, they're not going to.
yeah, absolutely. And I saw that you do commission based with your people there.
I would say like it's not going to be commission. It'll be more like bonus.
Okay.
But all of my businesses, I've kind of done a little bit of all of it.
Uh-huh.
Commission, bonus, just really depends on the situation and kind of where we're at as a business, right?
Okay.
You can't really get into a business and initially Well, there's two ways to do it, right? You don't know what you're doing with the business. You don't know the potential of it. You can just give away a ton of commission,
Yeah.
right? And just like, hey, give them some room, and then eventually you have to dial back on that. But that can get kind of complicated.
No, yeah, definitely, because it cuts into the money, you know. Um,
It cuts into the money, and then also you want them to be motivated. So like when I first started the store, I put everybody on commission, but they really weren't making any money,
yeah.
unfortunately, right? So then we had to optimize, you had to increase the commission, restructure the plan, try to give them more things that they control. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I was under the impression that you still had the junk removal, but I wasn't sure 100%. So right now, how are you getting a ton of product, to fill out your store consistently, have product coming in, coming out? Are you sourcing like by the pound? We were talking about maybe doing some deals, but I think it's hard just because of the shipping. And the stuff that I would sell would probably be better on eBay to get that most profit per item. I know you probably sell stuff really good in your thrift store, but I think it's better like in person and buying super cheap in bulk probably for you, right?
I
So
mean, it just really depends. It's
it just
all
depends.
about, it's just where the price point is. Like, I like to be at a certain threshold per item. Um, as long as I'm there with
Yeah.
shipping, then I'm comfortable. But yeah, I mean, I like the junk removal business. Don't get me wrong. I think if you are interested in getting into the junk business and then putting a thrift store on the back of it, I like the clients I used to consult in that space. I used to compare it to, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. You're out
Yeah,
in California, Shaq and Kobe, right? It's the
absolutely.
best combination since peanut butter and jelly, right? And so I will say, if you have the means to do junk, I think it really pairs very well with a thrift store. And I'm on a non-compete right now. That's why I'm not in the junk removal business because I did
Gotcha.
sell. But come August, that non-compete's up, so I can
Oh,
re-enter the game.
okay.
Um, but the business model I have now, I like as well. They're both really two separate business or two separate stores.
Right.
So for us now that we're more clothing, we buy directly from customer. Um, we will, go out and source just like any person would do if we really
Uh-huh.
have to, or we just buy wholesale from multiple different contacts.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So how big is that new spot that you got? So for those of you that are new or you haven't seen him on Instagram, I have all his stuff down below, by the way. He just got a new massive spot. Your other one was pretty big. It was like it's still an impressive store, but this one looks super cool. And when we hopped on the live, like I swear 2 days ago, he got this building and he already painted out the back and already put the logo. So like, damn, like he was quick. So how
Yeah,
big is that
yeah.
spot?
So this one's 4,500 square feet, and then we
Okay.
got an awning. I'd say probably another 1,500, 1,000 to
Perfect.
1,500 square feet under
Yeah.
the awning.
And it has like a little parking garage type deal in the front where
Yeah,
it's covered up, which is
yep.
badass because you can do your fill bags events and
Filler bags, yeah.
vendors. Because I saw the other day it rained on you and it was
It
harder.
rained on me. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but we still had a crazy turnout.
I saw
Literally,
that.
I kind of took my time because I was like, man, it's raining. I don't think anybody's really gonna show up. So I need to run to the store and get some more tables because we were out. I took my time. I get there, and literally the line is wrapped around one side of the parking lot to the other side of the parking lot. So we probably
Crazy.
had about 750 to 1,000 people show up in the cold and the rain. So I'm
That's
like,
amazing.
wait till we get some actual good weather. Wait till they
Yeah.
come to this store. My other store is in a business park. My store before that was in a warehouse with no AC. So now I got a big space with AC, and it's near one of the best parts of the city. So I'm really excited about this one.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, like, how much is like the a space for like that per square footage in San Antonio?
Per square footage, I don't know what that math is going to be, but it sounds like it's almost like $2 per square foot.
Okay.
So we're at like 74 a month right now.
Okay.
which I mean, I think to some that's not a lot, to some that's a lot. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it
Yes.
just really depends on like what you got going on right now. For us, I wouldn't have taken this risk if I didn't have the social media mechanism working on our behalf to where we know we can tap in and drive more customers to the business pretty much, you know, with a couple videos, right? But because we have that, I'm willing to take those risks. And I see in the market, people want cool spaces. They want to go to, you know, the most popular areas, and they want space. Like that was one of the issues with the fill back. Like we literally had not enough space. I mean, there's
Mhm.
too many people inside of the store. So, so
Yeah,
yeah.
no, definitely. Um, so yeah, you pay 7,400 there, and I'm more than confident that you know you'll clear that easily. And with the social media, man, isn't that like a blessing? Like 10 years ago, like you could probably it would have been harder to do what you're doing now, but now with social media, it's just on steroids, dude. Like what you can accomplish, the kind of traffic you can drive to something.
Yep. Yep.
It's just if you use it right, man, it could be something crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and it's funny because I know you've done very well on social media in a very short period of time. For us, I started on social media in 2023 for the store. Originally,
Huh?
we sold everything on Facebook Marketplace, you know, because it
Yeah,
was just furniture, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but as we wanted to build the business more, we wanted to, you know, drive more traffic. We started doing social media, but we just weren't seeing like a true return on investment. So
Yeah.
we put it in a new strategy going into last year, and then we went viral or micro viral. And
Uh-huh.
then next thing you know, we see a ton of traffic through social media. So for us, that's been our only way of driving traffic to this model because it's closed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. You said this is live, right?
It's not live.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. So for those of you that are watching, you know, if it's closed, you want to do your online stuff, kind of what David's doing here, but and then also you
Sorry,
want to
it cut
do,
off a little bit.
yeah.
When you started speaking in that sentence, what'd you say again?
I was just saying, if you're doing clothes, you know, doing your online, doing your eBay and your Poshmark, whatever, if you want to sell your clothes, but then social media, if you're running an actual store, it's going to be huge. Now, if
Yeah.
you're doing the junk removal concept, you could still rely on Facebook Marketplace. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I really like about that side because
Yeah.
you can get some furniture in, take a couple pictures, make 500,000 bucks per
Hmm.
day selling just a few items. So
Definitely. Furniture is it can be very good. I've seen a lot of people that flip furniture. It's bigger transaction. Like any old table, a dining table is 150, 200 bucks, you know?
right.
Obviously with the junk removal, probably came across a ton of furniture.
Ton of
It's
furniture, dude. I did
crazy.
a partnership with a junk removal company at one point, and we had 8,000 square feet full of stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, and they literally were bringing so much stuff, they were like vomiting on us with furniture, home
That's
decor.
crazy.
So, I mean,
And
there's so much stuff out there.
yeah. And I'm actually interested in that. Like I'm trying to get into as much stuff as I can, one step at a time. I'd like to get a whole warehouse just for something like that. I'd like to open up a thrift store here in my town. I'm very known here, and I feel like with social media, you know, you can get something going. There's not like a thrift store like yours out here. It's honestly not very common what you're doing, the way that you're doing it. Um, like making it look cool, having a nice space, and appeasing to like the newer younger people with the vintage, and obviously you got modern stuff. Like all that combination of everything is what people want. And like here where I'm at, it's a wide open market for that, you know. So
Where are you
uh,
at?
I'm in this little town called Merced, California.
Merced.
So
Okay. How far is
like
that from Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz, I'm like 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a
Like
client out in Santa Cruz. He's
okay.
got a store.
Yeah, Santa Cruz is badass. Closer to the Bay Area, that's where I was born. But I'm in a small
Gotcha.
little town, 100,000 people, like nothing crazy.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I mean, you might be more, I mean, you could definitely, the cooler the better, don't get me wrong, but from a sustainability standpoint, you need a good amount of young people for this model. I say we still get young people in, every other age as well
Hmm.
compared to some of our competition. But you might really like that junk removal thrift pairing because you're making money two times,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so it's like you got paid to pick the thing up, and then you get paid again to sell it, right? And
Yeah.
so from a profitability standpoint, I don't know how fashion, how much you like fashion and everything. For me as a man, it was just easier to comprehend the junk removal and furniture pairing. I will say, I've this whole business is ran by women,
Uh-huh.
so like I don't have any men but myself in
Yeah.
this business, in this model here. But
Uh-huh.
before, my store was ran by men, right? Because it was very simple. So yeah, you definitely like that junk removal. Like, yeah, that's a beautiful business, man. It really
Absolutely.
is. It
Here,
really is.
here's
Great margin too.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing margin. Uh I was gonna say because there's two ways to open up a thrift store, a for profit and a nonprofit. Um I have a buddy that I know. I don't want to say his name or nothing but basically he has a nonprofit and he has access to a bunch of stuff for free. And obviously you can get donations and stuff like that. What made you not want to do that as well? Because I know obviously you make profit no matter what, whether if it's a nonprofit or a for profit. It's just about what you contribute to charity. That's the difference. But what made you do like because you're a for profit, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
What was like the pros and cons for you when deciding?
I mean, I thought about it, and I think when I sold the business in 2023, I was really like, okay, I think it's time for us to pivot to nonprofit just to
Uh-huh.
give us some more oomph. But I talked to some people uh, that run nonprofits, and they were like, you shouldn't do it. Just stay doing what you're doing, and if you want to donate your proceeds. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I guess from a margin standpoint, I don't know what a nonprofit's margin is, but I would say mine is probably up there, to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest. So
yeah.
it's like from a profitability standpoint, I would say we're pretty up there. I'd say one thing we are going to do with this new store is we will have a charitable arm with some local charities once a month.
Okay.
But for us, it was just and also I buy my stuff too. I don't get donations.
Hmm.
I think when you think about like one of the issues you run into with the thrift stores is you might get too much. So now you're not controlling what's going into your store, and so your quality is all over the place, right? Versus when we buy it directly, we control what gets in here, and so therefore we can have quality. We have good
Yeah,
quality all the time, right?
yeah,
So I think, I mean, both models work. I have run both models, but I'll say this one's a little bit easier to control versus just taking a ton of donations and a ton of extra stuff. So
yeah,
so yeah, long story short, I mean, I guess I just didn't have to. I mean, I thought
yeah,
about it. I was pretty close. I was like, all right, should I do this nonprofit thing?
yeah.
But I was like, all right, I'll just do charity on my own time, and we'll donate. With like there's like a dog place we want to partner with, and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. But yeah, I think the nonprofit thing just kind of gets tricky from what I was told. Like you don't
Yeah.
even control your business. But there is another way though. Um, you can partner with a nonprofit. So there's this big chain that I've been talking to. They have like somewhere between 20 and 30 locations and doing like 25, $30 million a year.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they partner with a charity, and then they take all the stuff. They go pick up all the stuff from the clients that
Access.
charity recommends, and then they take that to the store, and then they have to kick off a profit, a percentage of the profit to the charity. So I think it's like 20 or 30%.
Okay.
So
So this guy, what he told me about the nonprofit stuff is that he told me It doesn't necessarily have to be like a donation, as long as you're contributing to a certain cause. Goodwill's is like the most famous, obviously, thrift store. It's everywhere. Their cause is to provide jobs for people with disabilities or people that maybe they can't get a job right now through like their past for the record or stuff like that.
Right.
That's their way of giving back, which is it's cool. It's badass. I like it, but that's literally their charity. Like everything else is
Gotcha.
profit.
That
That's
is it.
their cause.
Okay.
And
And
that
then they
guy's
still get volunteers too.
yeah.
I wonder what margin they're running. I mean, I looked at Goodwill and they're doing like 7.4 billion, right? And then I think they had the gross profit at 664 million. But then like I believe the net profit was relatively low. But maybe it's just because you gotta spend the money. That's why they're always opening more stores.
They're constantly investing. If you see the kind of warehouse spaces that they have, it's just I was looking around. I'm like, this place with employees is like 200,000 a month, just that one location. It was like a Goodwill bins, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like it's a lot of overhead the way they do it. But obviously, they get all this stuff for free.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, anyone that thinks of donating something, they think of Goodwill now. You
Indeed.
know,
Yeah,
and they
for
think
sure. For sure.
absolutely that like the thought process of people is like I'm giving for a good cause, right? It's like kind of for charity. So that's
Right.
like they're like the face of that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
would almost sorry to cut you off, but I would be more interested in doing the donation bins as a nonprofit. That would be something I'd be more interested in. But the full on thrift right now, what we're doing is a little more curated. If I had another concept that was just vomit anything again, then I would be like, all right, we'll take on donations. But man, you just get so much
so much.
stuff, bro. It's like it's not even. It's sometimes it takes the fun out of it. It's just too
No, yeah,
much, you
it's
know.
so much.
So versus like, all right, I know what I have. Most of this is going to be it. Some of it's bad. Don't get me wrong. You never buy anything from a wholesaler and it all be good. But
Yeah, never.
most of it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of so much, so I just bought like truckloads, like box truck fulls, raw donations, and I learned
yeah,
like really going through all the bags, bro. Like a full truck is like 450 bags. Like I might pull out 10 bags of some decent stuff.
yeah,
It's just the volume is just absolutely ridiculous, you know.
right.
Um,
Now for you with truckloads, a thrift store might actually work very, very well.
so here's my idea for when I do it.
Okay.
There's this thrift store here that it's a volume monster. Like, dude, like that place is full all the time. It's kind of in the ghetto, but it just pushes everything and anything onto the shelves with extremely affordable prices. Like it'll say $3.99, and it's 50% off every single day. And like on Sundays, it's 75% off. And like, yeah, it's like 50% off every single day. I think one day is 30%, but it'll be a Patagonia sweater, a North Face, whatever. Like it'll still be like maybe at most $5.99, 50% off. So like it'll give away some good stuff, but for the most part, it just pushes overall just volume. So I kind of like that. If you just get so much, you push it out there, it's super cheap, and it just goes out the door. I know for a fact they're doing $1 million or $2 million easily, just by like that, you know. And
What margin do you think they're running though? So that price point's so low.
Dude, the thing is, like, I've seen them. You can go in there and sit by the cash register. You'll see them collect 1,000 in less than an hour, like every hour, all day.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
So
just a
people
volume.
buy a ton of stuff, right?
What was that?
You're just selling a lot of stuff at
It's
one
just so
time.
much stuff. I don't know how
I
cheap they
gotcha.
get it. I don't know if they do nonprofit. I don't know if they buy truckloads. I don't know. I've tried to ask.
Yeah.
I like that model. They have good stuff. They separate some better stuff, you know. They'll mark up certain things, but for the most part, it's just it's good for like buying stuff for yourself and then flipping it.
I'm flipping it.
I just don't know like what the numbers are actually looking like, but that catches my eye. That method, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bins concept is also so
That one
something
as well.
I would like to, so my goal right now with the store is I'll hold my other store, I'll have this one, I'll have my furniture one, and then I'm going to open one more in Austin, and then the goal would be to franchise the business. So
Okay.
everything I'm doing right now is in my future franchisees, you know, it's for them basically. I want the model
Uh-huh.
to be where they're protected. So I can't have them doing things that would, that is not scalable. So everything I have that I'm building in this model is for scalability. So
Right.
that's my goal. But outside of that, I wouldn't mind having another concept more like bins
Yeah.
and do it by the pound.
By the
But I would
pound.
like to be a little more curated on that as well. I think the fun part about it is, is the curation. Like the people really like good stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
they
what
do.
they come looking for, and they
Yeah.
want it at a good price. So as long as that's still the focus, I think you can be very good. But at the same time, I had a store full of just clothes, and I mean only the good stuff sold. To be
Yeah.
honest, like it would, like the rest of the stuff was just sitting there. So
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. I mean, I'm indifferent, right? Right now, I really like what I'm doing, and I think it's the most scalable model. But maybe there is another way to do it, and it's better, and maybe it's
No.
easier. I don't know.
I think there's just a million ways to make $1 million, you
There
know?
is, yeah. There's a
There's just
ton
so
of
many ways to
ways,
do
man.
it. There's not one
Right,
right way to
right,
do it.
right. Yeah,
So that you have to find what works for you, and
right, right.
that works for you. So
Yeah, yeah,
but yeah, that's just like an idea I had. And we'll see in the future. Right now, like I got so much stuff going on, and um, I do want to do one though. Like that's literally on my list of a business I don't want to do. But that's why I want to have you on here. I want to pick your brain on that, and you
sure,
know,
sure. I
yeah,
mean, just only thing I don't like about the thrift, like I say the perfect monster for me would be you have e-commerce, you have your store, you have your events, right? So you got your community,
yeah,
right? And then to be honest, you have the live auction. The store piece though is just can be kind of expensive, just like to maintain it. As long
yeah,
as if you're comfortable with that, you know how to maintain a team, know how to keep them motivated, and kind of work through some of the stressors at time, then definitely do a store. But everything I like to do, I like to prove to myself first before I invest in it heavily. So initially, we just started in a storage unit. For you, if you have those truckloads and you want to try to move them like in person, you could do like an estate sale or something like that, and then maybe either put them on racks or just do bins and just have them
hmm
dig and see what you could really get. So if
yeah,
you're seeing, I mean, some of my clients, we put them on the estate sale play, and they can get $2,000 in the weekend, right?
hmm
So that might be something very easy to do,
yeah,
just to
and
test out. And then from there you're like, okay, cool, we got model. Would y'all want to go to a store and it be just like this? Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool, coming soon. Mind if I get your email or something like that, or follow my thrift store page on
yeah,
Instagram for more information. But yeah,
definitely. Before I make the jump, I gotta do a small sample size to see what could work. What model? I like the bins model of just like a big warehouse in the back, and we just rotate bins all day, and it's by the pound. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, no, like the bins, like it's badass too in terms of like the money I see that they can make.
right.
At the end of the day, it just comes down to how much you're getting this stuff for, and how much you can flip it for, and then
Right.
marketing.
Yep.
But
I
yeah,
could really see you on that junk side though, man. Sorry to dissuade you, but like I could really see you like
being a junk
running a
monster.
junk. It's just like, dude, it's a sales business, right? So
Uh-huh.
like you are in, as long as you're getting jobs, you know how to do that. Your job as the owner is just to get your team jobs. Then their
hmm
job is to go and make as much money as possible for you per day, right?
Yeah.
And so like with the reselling, the thrift, sometimes it's like, okay, what control do we really have on the day? Like, can you really impact the day like you could if you were to go out and give great customer service and charge the right price with a customer, put out some yard signs, really grimy kind of work. So you have a
Hmm.
lot more control on that side. So for example, at one point I had two guys on a 16-foot box truck,
Uh-huh.
15 hours. They were bringing in $300 to $500 per day for themselves. Okay. And then
Uh-huh.
they were making me gross revenue, of course, $3,000 to $5,000 per day on
Yeah.
junk. Then we were taking everything from that and then reselling it all.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I really like that model the best. But if you wanted to also have your other thrift store, I think you're just very protected when you have the junk mechanism and it's working well. So like
Yeah.
my client in Santa Cruz, he's doing junk and thrift. So, you know,
Okay. All
he's
right. Now
very
you convinced
protected
me.
on
So I'm
that.
definitely gonna try that out.
Yeah.
I will have fucking 10 businesses if I can, like if I could
Yeah.
delegate everything, why the heck not? Like honestly, like I want to have a restaurant one day or something too. Like I'm passionate
Yeah.
about like food and stuff and
Yeah.
um like yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff we could do. And wait, how old are you by the way?
I'm 29.
29, dude. You're so young
Yeah.
for everything that you've done so far, bro. It's badass.
Yeah. I'm curious. How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one thing though. One thing I will say, when I was 24, I have 24, 25, I had five businesses.
Okay.
So I had essentially a moving company, a junk company, a state sale company, a cleaning company, and then a thrift store.
Uh-huh.
And typically, once you start opening up, my junk and moving company was my biggest business. Um, but typically, once you move over to the next business, the other business would normally decline
Decrease.
unless
Mhm.
you have like a CEO in there. And so
Yeah.
for a CEO, you need to be paying 150, $200,000 a minimum
Mhm.
a year. Um, and so that's just something to keep in mind. And so I have seen I made the most leaps in my career when I just focus on the one thing
Yeah.
for a good amount of time. So just I think for anybody listening to the audience, just be just kind of aware trying to do too many things at one time unless you have partners. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to do it, but just be mindful of that, I would say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna do one thing at a time, and I want to get my eBay kind of automated, and that's just my cash cow right now. That's
Yeah,
the thing I know how to do, and it works. And right now, I'm building connections. Thank God through Instagram, where maybe at one point I can just start ordering. Everything comes
yeah,
in. It's already separated exactly what I want, and it gets
right.
posted and gets shipped out. So I can
So
see that at some point scaling up pretty well to where I don't really have to be there all the time and I don't have to go to the thrift stores on my own.
gotcha.
So that's like one step. And then the wholesale as well. I'm working on that. I literally just started that with the clothing like a month ago. That's going very well. I could see the ceiling being really high with that. It's
Really
just,
high.
I just gotta, like figure it out. That it's hard to get quality stuff to where I make money and the person makes money as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Wholesale game
pushing
is
buttons.
wicked,
And
bro.
what was
It's
that?
wicked. That wholesale game is so wicked. Like we'll buy some stuff from a lady, they'll give us some really good stuff, and then the next order they'll like completely skimp us. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, all right. So I mean, naturally for us to be most protected, you want to go direct to source. So wherever the wholesaler is getting their stuff, you have to become them. So you have
yeah,
all control. So for us, like I'm not ready to do it yet because it's a whole beast of a
yeah, bro.
machine. But if you really wanted to build out your wholesale thing, you need to cut out the other wholesaler somehow and go direct to source and become the
Yeah,
real plug, basically. That way
yeah,
you're in control of making the decisions on what goes where.
absolutely. And the only way I can see my wholesale absolutely taking off is um not me sourcing, obviously, because there's only so much I could do physically, and even my people. It'd have to be probably like just a massive warehouse, and there's just tens of thousands of things in there, somewhat decent quality, and then there we separate and then we put in boxes. But
Yep. Well, that's how the process looks at the wholesale operations. Yeah. massive warehouse full of clothes. And then they're sorting and separating. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just gets everyone gets taught on what is good, what is not, how to make sure it's good for eBay, and no rips and stuff like that. Make sure it doesn't smell. All that stuff you have to account for. And yeah, like we did very good the very first month of launching. It's just very stressful. Like I wasn't prepared for like
Hey,
that.
that's good though, man. That's good though.
Yeah, it was a fucking dude. Okay, I oversold. Like I launched the first day. And I had the whole truckload. I didn't really know how many lots I could fulfill with the first one.
Right. Yeah.
I sold like 60 boxes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And one like 24 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, 60. Once I started filling them up, bro, I was like, oh, dude, I fucked up.
Damn.
Like, yeah. It was like,
You
it took
didn't have
me 2
enough.
weeks to, what was that?
You didn't have enough.
I absolutely not. No.
Oh, wow.
But it took a little bit. I emailed everyone, let them know. It's gonna take a little longer. That's why I had it shut down for a little bit. But I mean, first month we sold like 100 lots. But my goal is to probably just consistently do like 100 lots until I figure it out how it could be easier and just quicker. Like if I could ship everything within 24 hours, 48 hours of the order coming in, you know.
Right.
Until then, I'm gonna take it slow until I can figure that process out, you know.
Right. Yeah, man. Hey, any business you start, you typically make a lot of mistakes, you know, in the initial phase.
Absolutely.
So no big deal. It's just part of learning.
Yeah.
You gotta fail. I like to fail for it. I want to fail as fast as possible so then I can just pivot. You know, like even with this store, you know, like every time I do anything, I get a little nervous, but that's why we're getting open as fast as possible. So that way I can see what pivots are we gonna have to bring into question.
Yeah.
Freaking fly just came in
Last
here.
couple of days, you've been very, very busy there, man. Like literally, what the hell? It's already painted. Did you add already lights yourself, or those lights already there?
No, these lights are already here.
Okay.
Yeah, lights are already here. We got the paint done. I mean, to be honest, I would have had this done faster, but the first contractor that I was dealing with, we had like a miscommunication on what it was going to cost.
Okay.
But it would have got started on Saturday. I would have been couple steps ahead. I mean, anytime I put my mind to actually do things, I can get it done very fast in a very, quick time. So,
hell yeah.
So yeah, man. We're gonna get open on we're shooting for the 15th, but it might not be the 15th. We might need a couple more days. But I think I'm gonna still try to force it. We just put a piece of social media out on our main page, and I think right now it's probably at like 130,000 views. So like for us as a brick and mortar business, like that's like,
dude, that's a lot, bro.
That's all customers that are getting ready to come.
Yeah.
With like 5,000 shares on IG.
Yeah, dude.
And then
that's
on
all
TikTok,
people right there.
Another 80,000, 80,000 views with another 3,000 shares. So those are all like customers that are gonna make a visit to the store, right? Absolutely. And so very excited about that. Just gotta make sure we live up.
Yeah,
live up to the expectation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are very excited, man. Very excited.
Dude, I'm excited for you, bro. It's gonna be badass.
Thanks, man.
So what else do you have to do before you open up? You have to add all the racks on the walls.
So
fill it up with stuff.
I don't know if you can see, but we got the racks already.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see.
All the racks are already up.
Quick as hell, dude.
So yeah, we already have racks on the walls. Now it's gonna be like the middle space. So you won't be so they got this whole middle space here. Gonna have to put some more racks in there. And then the front space is now the front space still has a lot of work. So still got to paint that front space. We're getting the logo painted right now. Then it's racks and clothes. But I'm just build out, man. Once I get the build out done, then it's on the girls are going to take it from there. So, they got to price and tag everything. And then we're up and running. So, then I kick back in for marketing.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, how do you guys price? Do you guys base it off of online, or do you go pretty cheap, or is it like halfway of what you see on the market is going for? Like, how do you normally price?
Yeah. So like one of the things that I want for us to be known, I want us to really be like the Walgreens or like the CVS of thrift, right? Mm-hmm. So you got Goodwill. Goodwill would be the Walmart, right? You go in there, you get the cheapest thing, but you got to look. It's a lot of work, right?
Hmm.
CVS is going to be more convenient. Walgreens is going to be more convenient. You know where everything is. Everyone is set up pretty much the same. So the goal would be we're like a CVS. So we're going to be a little bit more expensive than a Goodwill, but we
Uh-huh.
essentially should always have good product. And so how we price is based off of a pricing sheet that I created where we have the value of the item, and then what we think it should be priced at for our store.
Okay.
And I think that changes per location. So like if you're in a more affluent location, then maybe that price is a couple dollars more. If you're in a little bit lower class location, then maybe that price is closer to the Goodwill pricing.
Okay.
So, but Google Lens, I mean, we use Google Lens as well for things that are above our price sheet, more premium items, and then we'll make sure we're competitive on that side. But it's a price sheet plus. This is one thing I don't like about the business right now. I am still trying to fix. There is a lot of art that goes into the pricing, outside of just, hey, we're going to be cheaper. There
Yeah.
is still some art, and I don't like running businesses with art. I only like to I like to have systems, and I like to dumbify as much as I can. So we actually are revising that process as we speak.
Okay. Um, bless you.
Thank you.
Monster sneeze.
Yeah, man.
That's funny. But yeah, I'm soon. I might pull the trigger on a 4,000 square foot warehouse. The guy told me it's four. I don't think it's four quite around there, but I'm gonna do the same thing you're doing, where I'm gonna paint everything before I even move anything in there, so it's ready to go.
Yeah.
And just
Well,
fill it
just
out.
make sure when you get into the warehouse, though, make sure it's zoned properly, so that you can actually run a thrift store. So, like, the
Oh,
name of my name
that
of
one.
my business is
Uh-huh.
Thrift at the Warehouse, but you know, it was because we were ashamed of it being in a warehouse. But then we found out it wasn't even zoned to be a thrift store,
Oh,
so
dang.
we were almost getting ready to get kicked out,
Yeah.
right? So, I think that's something to take into consideration.
No, dude, that one is not for retail at all. That one, I'll be able to do my eBay in there. I'm gonna do my
Hmm.
eBay in there, but
Hmm.
that one's not retail. It's in a residential area, but it's
Hmm.
like it's like a warehouse. But the guy told me, like, hey, you could do your eBay and whatever, but you just can't have like a retail thing
I
going on.
gotcha.
That one would just be for my warehouse, because right now I'm using like half of one,
Hmm.
and it's a good size. I can do everything in there, but eventually, like in a couple months, like I'm gonna outgrow it. So
Gonna have to
that
outgrow
one,
it.
that one
Okay.
popped up, and it's a great price. So probably gonna
Yeah,
pull the trigger.
I need to pick your brain on the eBay, man. Shoot, we are garbage at e-commerce right now.
Well, what's going on with that?
Garbage. I mean, I will say I think we're miss. So like we're thrift at the warehouse, right? So
Uh
people
huh.
are expecting a little bit more affordable stuff, and on online, a bunch of our stuff is more expensive. And then we don't really have a huge quantity of items. So for us, the goal was restart, bring all of our premium stuff in store because it sells much faster,
Uh huh.
and then introduce more $25 to $45 items online. That way, $15 to $45 items online. That way, we can still be presented as an affordable store, but with
Yeah,
quality. So, but yeah, man, I try to learn from you and some of the other eBay sellers, man. I would love to have a strong e-commerce division.
dude, you could
After this
definitely
store,
do
I
it.
want it. That I want it. I really want that. Like I think, especially with we saw with the pandemic and all of that. Like you got to be protected on all sides.
Absolutely.
So
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 you could be a
yeah,
very strong source of extra income of what you got
right.
going on. Um, yeah, bro. If you want to hop on a call, even after this, like I can get you set up, because right now I've just been trying to build it out to the point where, like, to get my cash flow going within like just clothing, because I used to do electronics. But once you really get moving and you got cash flow within eBay, you can really push some like volume, and the sales can be crazy, like on top of what you already got going on, because you get so
Yeah,
much stuff. You have cash flow from all angles coming in. You can invest money in there for someone to be taking pictures all day, and maybe having like a virtual assistant just to get it moving, you know. And you can put the higher end stuff mixed in with some lower end stuff, just because I feel like there's a lot of stuff you probably don't put in the store. Like, do you put like a Tommy Bahama button up Hawaiian shirt in there?
I want to, but
Okay.
no, we don't have it right now. Like some of the stores over here, like they'll have that tacky, wacky kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
They'll
Like
have
that
those
stuff.
Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, like that stuff wouldn't be good for your store, but you can put it on your eBay. You can get
Right.
18 bucks right there, 15, you know, if anything,
Mm.
at the worst. But like little stuff like that, you wouldn't put in your store because it's more curated, but you could put it into your eBay, you know?
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah. I
something to
mean,
think about.
I'm definitely down to learn, bro. We can kind of swap knowledge and
Hell yeah.
like I said, I think the best, if I were a guy right now, 2025, and I'm going to start a new business, I'm going junk and thrift. I don't know if unless I'm coming in super capitalized, I'm not coming into this model right away.
Uh,
Just because if they don't know how to market, they're going to be real, in a real tough position. You know how to market, so you should be fine. But
yeah.
most people don't know how to drive traffic, and so they struggle.
Yeah.
But with the junk and thrift, you've already made money, and then you're going to sell the other stuff on Facebook Marketplace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really just the best. It's just the best business model, man. It
Just the
really
Shaq and
is.
Kobe, like you said.
Shaq and Kobe, man. Shaq and Kobe.
But hey,
So
how
yeah,
is it
man.
over there in San Antonio, man? I used to live in Odessa, Texas, like 4 hours
Okay.
away. And I've been to Fort Worth a lot. I was out there for like 3 years in Texas. How do you
Yeah.
like San Antonio?
I mean, it's a city. I've always had business here, so I just been so tied to the city, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
But I plan on getting out of here. I mean, it's not too much going on. It's a nice little business city, family
Yeah.
city. I plan on
Um,
actually relocating to Austin,
okay.
and kind of just traveling out from there. But I mean, I don't
Are you
really
from
care
there?
for it. I mean, I'm not really from anywhere, man, but I've been here the
Kind of
most,
like me,
right?
bro.
So, yeah, were your parents in the military?
No, they weren't in the military, but
Uh-huh.
I've bounced around a lot. But go ahead and tell
Okay,
your
gotcha.
story. I'll tell you
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. Every 2 years we move, right? So my dad was in the military, so Georgia, San Antonio, Louisiana, San Antonio, Hawaii, Kansas, Abilene, Texas. You're probably familiar with.
Yep.
Back to San Antonio. Then I moved for a year into Iowa, so I kind of been a little bit of everywhere. But so yeah,
Yeah,
so
dude.
I've
Okay,
been here
so
the longest, but only because
okay,
I've had businesses. If not, I would have been, shoot,
somewhere
I
else.
don't know where I would be.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in San Jose, moved to a different town like at 9 years old, moved to a
Yeah,
different town again like 2 years later. And
yeah,
I was like in high school and middle school like 6 years. As
yeah.
soon as I got out of high school, I moved to Oklahoma for a
Oh my
year.
God.
And I went to like a technical school and I got like my certificate in working like in the oil field to
Yeah.
test welds. Went to the Bay Area, to San Francisco, worked there. And then from there, I moved to Texas. And then I was in
Oh,
Texas
that's
for
why
two
you're in
years.
Odessa. Okay,
Yeah, that's why I was in Odessa, a
gotcha.
little oil field town.
Yeah.
And then from there, I moved back here to Merced. And then I moved to Fresno, which is like a bigger city over here. And then I moved back. So I've been all over the place too.
There you
Um,
go.
but I
Well
mean, I kind of want to
traveled.
stay here now just because of the family
Yeah.
and,
Okay.
just build like a little life right here. But
I got you. I
so yeah,
got you.
man.
So what else? I mean, I definitely want to give some value if I can on the thrift store side. Like, I know I'm probably dissuaded. I do this a lot, man. So I apologize, but whenever you get me talking about junk, like I'm always gonna lean somebody towards that model. But
Uh-huh.
what can I do for you on the thrift side? Like, kind of what are some of your fears, and what can I shed some light on for you?
I think a lot of people don't really like get to talk to people that have a thrift store. That's why I wanted to do this. And obviously I wanted to just pick your brain on how you got started. And I kind of have a decent understanding on how I would kind of do it. But I see it like everything you're doing. So I'm just kind of learning from there. I guess it's kind of simple. It's just about executing and just doing it, right? It's just like anything. You put your effort into something and you can make it something great. you already know that
Yep.
because you've done it a couple times with many different things. So, yeah, I just kind of see it, and now I can do it my own way and learn from you. Maybe learn from a couple other people. My dad used to have a thrift store like a couple of years ago. Actually, he had a thrift store. It was like all sports stuff.
Oh wow,
So I
okay.
saw how he ran it, and zero social media. Like like
Wasn't
absolutely
needed back
nothing.
then though.
Yeah, that's the only way you could do
Yeah.
it back then. But then he got into eBay, and that little store had a roof, a section, like on the roof where you can kind of like have a little office, and that's where he started his eBay. Started posting the stuff from the store to eBay. So I kind of like know a little bit about the thrift store game, and I know I can market. I've done like another thing where I used to be like an event planner, and I would rent out like a venue, and like that thing was crazy as well. And so I'm like, okay, if I get a thrift store and I market it, and see what you're doing and all that stuff, like it can be done. So it's just a matter of time whenever I can let go of what I got going on here. But right now, this is like my money thing right now, and so that's just for the future.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
what you got going on
Yeah.
right now? It's like almost 10:30 over there, right?
Yeah. Well, my painter is here. She's putting together another logo in the front room, the
Okay.
front space. So I'm just letting her do that and just kind of, and I like it. I like the store, man. So it's
Dude, that
like,
shit
hey,
looks sick,
I
dude.
don't have an office. Like I don't know if you saw one of the videos, but I just since I sold that business, I've been at home, man. It's
You
like,
working from a little office in like an extra room?
I mean, like, I mean, the way I set up my business is I set them up to where I'm not there. That's not for me. Like the
Uh-huh.
business is a entity separate of me. And
Yeah.
so with that last store, I won't say it's the best performing store, but it definitely gave me the freedom to not be there every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very rarely there, right? Except for on like event day. So I'm just like, man, like, what do I do? And I started doing some digital stuff, and yeah, I really just don't like working from home. So now I have an office, I have a place to be. I like to go somewhere and at least
Do your
just
work.
be there. Like I'm not gonna say I'm always working, like, but I'm
Yeah, yeah.
always thinking, right? Like I'm always thinking about, what moves I need to make. Like even getting on social media, I took some inspiration from you and a few other guys. I'm like, okay, I need to really put my goal out there, show what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
because I had some fear about that. And I mean, literally, I started that's 40 days ago. I'd say probably by the fifth day, I had like 3, 4 people reach out to me, wholesalers, commercial realtors, mentors, and I just got this new property. So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
like now I have that time to think. I'm able to, really make some real moves for the business. And I think this year is going to be pretty good for us. So
absolutely, man. I wish you the best this year, bro. You're gonna kill it. I already know you're gonna kill it.
thanks, brother. You
You're a
too, man.
monster,
You're
bro.
already killing it, man.
Yeah, we're trying out here, bro. I'm just trying to connect with people they're killing it and whatever it is that they're doing. If it could be any sort of reselling, obviously for this channel, it's the move. But I'm just trying
Yeah.
to like pick people's brains, bro, and put some stuff in my brain to learn and get better.
Yeah, I would say one thing, I'm sure we're about to conclude, but one thing that I think is really important, really put that time and attention. Obviously, you know how to market, you know how to find products, you have the two best pillars, right? I
Uh-huh.
think as long as you know how to build and develop a team, like there, and whenever you're doing that, make sure you sell that your business is going to be a big business and not a small one, so you can
Hmm.
get top tier talent into your business. If you can do that, that you'll solve your wholesale issue, you'll solve your eBay issue, and then you'll easily solve opening up a thrift store.
Yeah.
Relatively easy. So I would say just if one little nugget I can give you, just really invest into your people.
Yeah.
um, Make sure like as a business owner, like our job is to solve problems, right? So we
Yeah.
want to solve problems for our customer. Okay, I want you to have good stuff, right? We want to solve problems for ourselves. We want to put ourselves in a better position.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we want to solve problems for our team because they're going to make everything come
Everything
together.
together.
Everything. So just think about your business. Think about how you can help your people that are working for you right now reach their goals, right? Like really
Yeah.
try to help them reach their goals with your vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And I think the game changes, or the game changed for me once I started doing business in that manner.
Absolutely, bro. That's a massive nugget right there. I was looking at my sister that helps me out, and just my guy that helps me source. Like I take them with me every day. And I'm like, dude, if they don't want to work tomorrow, like I'm screwed. Like, and then it's harder to find good people that help you out, that are willing to work with you for the long term, and are trying to grow within you, you know. And luckily, like the guy that helps me out, he's like, dude, he's like, bro, I just want to see you, like, I want to help grow this to whatever you want to get to, you know. And like they're helping to be like part of like a beginning stage and whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm not a master at that at all, but you know, I'm gonna write that down and apply it, you know.
Yeah, just
100%.
give him some reason, man. Give him some reason to help you succeed,
Yeah.
which is essentially compensation. Figure out what does he control, what can he do, or what can she do to help you build this business faster. If they
Yeah.
were just to do this, we would grow faster. Okay,
Yeah.
what is that? Then, okay, what could I pay if they were to do that?
Yeah.
If they were to do that, we make more money. How much more money would I be able to pay them? Okay,
Yeah.
I could do this if they got me here, right? If they were able to increase revenue by another 500, I would be able to give them another 100 or another 50,
Yeah.
right? So think about it like that and give them some type of incentive. Come up with your package basically. This is your bonus plan for working with the team, and then never stop hiring, right? And so the rule number one is never get fucked, right? And the only way to never get fucked is to always have leverage. And the only
Yeah.
way to only always have leverage is to always be looking for the next up. Always.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
what, I'm always looking at new talent, bringing them through the recruiting process. We might not hire them because my people are better than them. But if
Yeah.
someone comes across our table, we're forced to look at them and
Yeah.
bring them into the org potentially. And once you have that type of culture in your business, you typically have everybody on their P's and Q's because
Nice
they
little
know
healthy competition.
healthy competition, because they know if someone comes in that's better than them, they're going to lose their spot.
Yeah.
Just like a basketball team. I can't
Yep.
be sucking and just get, a bunch of time because my dad is the coach. No, I got to perform. If I don't perform, I don't play. Right. And so the same thing for your business. And this is more rough though. This is when people really don't like the business, because it's like, all right, this becomes a little more cold. But like I said, rule number
Business.
one, never get fucked, man. You got to
Yeah.
be leveraged. You got to have your people working for the business's best interest, because essentially
Yeah.
the business is an extension of you, but it is separate of you and it has its own wants and needs. Right.
Absolutely. Dude, you're dropping straight bangers right now, bro. Hell yeah. Dropping knowledge.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
man.
crazy. Hell yeah, bro. Now, I'm glad you came on, bro. Once you get going on here in your new store here in a couple months, we'll do it again, bro, and see
All
where I'm
right.
at in my thrift store or junk haul removal journey and shit. And yeah, it's gonna be badass, dude. We'll keep in touch.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Last thing I want to say just to the audience, man, if you guys are dealing with any, adversity, dealing with, just don't know what to do, first, ask yourself, how did you get into that situation? Second, then remind yourself this one thing. Creativity, your level of creativity can help you solve all problems. As long as you're willing to be creative, you can think through any situation that you're being faced with, and you just have to ask yourself a series of questions and then execute on the task, execute on the answers that you've given yourself. So that's one little thing I wanted to share, because that helped me when I was getting ready to go out of business. I just had to go to my spreadsheet, ask myself a ton of questions, and then ask myself, how can I be creative in this situation so I can get myself out of my current situation? So I just want to share that with the audience.
Straight golden nugget, man. Heck yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you for
man.
coming on. We're going to do this again soon. If you guys are interested in checking them out, guys, Thrift King down below. All his stuff is down there. Do you have a YouTube, bro?
I do. It's Tony. I think it's just Tony Marlowe though. I'm not too active on there
Okay.
yet.
I'll put it down there. I'll find it on your channel, or if you can send it to me, and I'll link all your stuff down below. I'll link your main thrift store page as well. And yeah, man, we're gonna keep in touch and keep growing together.
All right, brother. We'll touch base again 3 weeks, and yeah, I'm definitely down to get on the call with you if I can do anything on the thrift side, and definitely want to pick your brain on the e-commerce side for sure.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
All right,
All
later.
right, guys. Catch you guys later. All right. See you, brother.